What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the state of play 24-hour notice, right? Coming at 3 p.m. Pacific time or 6 p.m. Eastern, and you know what? It actually seems kind of big. Now, look, that's easy to say now, and, cue the disappointing comments, right, of how this show's going to suck. Look, I mean, I get it. We've talked about it a ton, right? State of play versus a showcase. What I will say, and I've said this in the past, but now we actually have evidence, state of plays can be big. It kind of just depends on the format of them, and there's two key things to talk about with this state of play, right? 20 upcoming PS5 and PSVR 2 games from studios around the world. Now, that's news and updates. So news, in my opinion, can be brand new games, and then updates, obviously, on existing games, right? 30-plus minute show. Now, we've gotten big state. In fact, I think the state of play maybe last September, or maybe it was the September before it. I want to say that one was rather big as well, and that was much, much better than the showcase that we had gotten that was full of, like, the live service, push that they were doing, right? So, for me, it's a mix of quantity versus quality, because, like, 30-minute plus, that's quantity. That's quite a bit of it. And 20 games, that's also quite a bit. But also, like, you only need a couple games to really set me off in a positive direction, right? Like, you got to have, like, PSVR 2, maybe, substitute 3-4 games in for that. I think of Lego Horizon. I also maybe think of Until Dawn, right? So you think maybe a couple of those games are kind of tied up. You think maybe one of the remasters that we don't want with Horizon or Days Gone, maybe that appears there. But you still, even after all that, you still got at least 12 to 13 more games that you can play around with. And it only takes one to be a Resident Evil. It only takes one to be a Ghost of Tsushima. Now, I don't know if they'll do it. I don't know how big they'll go. But for me, the show, in terms of, like, the numbers, is shaping up to be a big one. So, like, is this where you could see a Spider-Man 2 DLC if it was going to happen? Now, I've said before, I don't think there's going to be a Spider-Man 2 DLC, but if there was one, I think this would be where you would show it. Ghost of Tsushima 2, I'm like 50-50 on. I'm also kind of 50-50 on Death Stranding, because Death Stranding is literally going to be at Tokyo Game Show, which is just 2 days after this. So maybe it makes sense for Hideo Kojima to do a trailer and show it here, and then he'll kind of talk about it, in a few days. So maybe you think of, Death Stranding 2. But, I wonder what the split is. I guess that's kind of where I'm at, right? So you got 20 games, and then how much is from them and how much is not from them. And I'm willing to guess that if you don't count PSVR 2, I'm willing to bet that there's maybe 2 to 4 games from their end. And again, like Until Dawn, Lego Horizon, there's 2. Death Stranding, maybe, that's 3. Maybe pick 1 or 2 more. So, like, get your bets in for Ghost of Tsushima or Bend or, something like that. But like I said, I mean, honestly, and I've said this before, like, I get excited for a lot of different kinds of games. So, I mean, I get the optics. Like, if this is a bad show, and even if it's a bad show from, like, PlayStation's angle, that still says something because of the lack of showcases, because of, the last state of play wasn't very good either. Like, they have something to prove. And I totally agree with that. I totally understand that, right? They do. And so you can say that. But for me, it's like, well, if it's weak on their end, but if they show me Resident Evil 9, I'm going to get pretty excited. And I'm going to overall say that's not a bad state of play because you showed me RE9. Wait, I'm just using that as an example, right? We talked about that earlier today. Seems possible that Resident Evil 9 is shown here. But any big game, pick a big game. Pick up maybe the Amy Hennig, a 1943, right? Rise of Hydra, something like that. You give me 1 or 2 or 3 of those type of games for like 2025, I think it'd be a pretty okay state of play. So we'll see. We'll see what the split is. We'll see if we get Ghost 2, but only takes like 1 to 2 games, I think, to make it a pretty reasonably good state of play. So look, I think it starts at 4 o'clock my time, 3 p.m. Pacific. You know what? I might be able to live stream it. I know this is kind of on the fly, unofficial, but keep tuned to the channel. I'll try to make an announcement on Twitter or something, or maybe you'll see like the broadcast on YouTube, but I won't be able to go live that far early. Like I normally go live an hour before. Can't do that, but I should be able to live stream it. So I'll let you guys know. I'll keep you guys updated. Let me know what you're expecting to see. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.